Today, we remember and we honor those who lost their lives in the September 11th attacks. It's been 22 years since nearly 3,000 people died in those plane crashes. People gathered at the 9/11 Memorial Pool in New York City. A police officer rang a bell 4 times, signifying the 4 attacks. In Shanksville, Pennsylvania, relatives left flowers at the memorial wall for victims of United Flight 93, which crashed there when passengers tried to overtake the hijackers. At the Pentagon, a team unfurled a flag. The Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, says they will never forget.
And as the years go by, it may feel that the world is moving on or even forgetting what happened here on September 11th, 2001. But please know this: the men and women of the Department of Defense will always remember.
And we remember. So many of us remember where we were on September 11th. WFMY News 2's Giselle Thomas went out into the community today to find what people were thinking, what they were doing when all of it happened. One Greensboro resident says he was just hanging out with some friends on September 11th. He says he just couldn't even understand what had happened.
It didn't make sense to me. Like, I was thinking, like, how did it even happen? How did it occur? What made it happen? What would give somebody that type of plot? You know what I'm saying? And it didn't even seem real.
Another person said it seemed to be a normal day for him before he heard the news. He says he was in tears when he found out.
Basically, my grandma told me that same night that it happened, and I honestly cried because it could have happened to me. My family could have been gone, you know?
He says he was sad so many people died during that attack. Now, students and teachers honored Sandy Bradshaw. The Randolph County native was a flight attendant on Flight 93 that crashed there in Pennsylvania. Sandy Bradshaw went to Eastern Randolph High School and Gray's Chapel Elementary. Today, Bradshaw's mom spoke at Gray's Chapel. She says it means a lot for the schools to keep the memory of her daughter alive.
It's very special. That it's nice that they continue to do this every year. It means a lot to the family. And Sandy loved Grace Chapel.
And Bradshaw left behind a daughter and a son, as well as her mom. Students in Guilford County honored the victims of 9/11 today. We wanted to give you a look at Grimsley High School ROTC as their members were paying their respects. And at Eastern Guilford High School, some students and first responders climbed 2,071 steps to remember the 110 stories first responders climbed to save lives. Rockingham County also holding a memorial ceremony at the Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Sam Page urged people to remember and pass on memories of 9/11 to their families.
Today, I would ask each and every one of you to take the time to educate your children and your grandchildren about what happened on 9/11 and why, and the dangers of complacency in our complex world today.
Well, the event also featured a solo guitar performance of God Bless America. First responders and victims who were in New York City still suffer from illnesses related to those attacks. A 9/11 responder advocate says more than 27,000 people who worked and lived in Lower Manhattan have cancer that was caused by 9/11. What we're showing you now is video of the NYPD first responder Lou Alvarez, who died from cancer about 3 years ago. 5,000 people have died from 9/11 related illnesses. 3 years ago, Congress and the President approved the September 11th Victim Compensation Fund, thanks to testimonies from people like Alvarez and others. It allows victims of 9/11 to make claims for the next 70 years. The mental battle also still continues for many survivors. First responders suffering from PTSD are working to remove the stigma around the disorder. One organization uses service dogs to help survivors cope.
Rob Weisberg's service dog Chip is trained to recognize certain cues of post-traumatic stress disorder.
When he sees them, he comes over and gives me a whack with his paw. And basically he's saying to me, come on, let's go for a walk, let's change it up, let's just get you in a different mindset.
A volunteer firefighter who nearly lost his life during 9/11 while helping others, Weisberg has struggled with survivor's guilt and PTSD ever since.
I had my suicide planned out. I just had to do it.
According to federal research, roughly 1 in 3 first responders develops PTSD in the U.S., and first responders are nearly 10 times more likely to contemplate suicide than average Americans. Robert Masseri is the co-founder of Paws of War, the organization that trained Chip and other service dogs to work with first responders and veterans with PTSD.
We help them by placing a dog with them to understand the balance and what this animal can do for them. Right down to sleeping next to you, waking you up when you have night tremors.
Unless you have PTSD, you'll really never understand what it's like. And I tell people all the time, Paws of War provides a safe place for me to be me.
Through Paws of War, Weisberg connected with others who knew exactly what he was going through. Earlier this year, he hiked the Appalachian Trail to raise money for the organization and to raise awareness of PTSD.
Break the stigma, okay? Get people comfortable with the idea of saying, I'm having a problem, I'm gonna get help.
Now, Weisberg is moving forward with new hope for the future and a friend by his side. Haley Ott, CBS News, Wisconsin, New York.
Veterans and first responders, of course, both need support. The Department of Veterans Affairs say the suicide rate among veterans is 57% higher than non-veterans. It's why a retired Delta Force operator and a nonprofit CEO have launched what's called the Operator Relief Fund. That fund addresses traumatic brain injuries, substance abuse, and stress disorders that veterans struggle with. Of course, today we remember all those whose lives have been impacted by 9/11.